Hi guys, Keitha here. In the previous video, we learned how to navigate Zoho People 5.0. Well, in this video, we will learn how to set up Zoho People 5.0. So I'm going to show you things like how to set KRAs and competencies, to how to edit forms. And we have a lot to cover. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, if you did not see the previous video where I show you how to navigate Zoho People 5.0, make sure you click on the link to watch. In this video, we're going to go over the settings. So first, I'll start with how to change a form. In Zoho People, we refer to these as forms. In other Zoho applications, it may be referred to as a module. But here, for example, if I wanted to add a field that would show up in a profile, I'm going to show you how to do that. First, we're going to go to settings in the top right corner. And then it will depend on which one you need to change. If we're changing the profile, that is under employee information. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to go to this tab called Extend Service. Here I see 5 different forms. This first one is employee. This is where I'll see basic information, work information, hierarchy, personal details, everything that you could see on the profile. And so all you have to do is drag and drop in order to add a new field, like so. Okay, although we already have a field called preferred name. So now we'll see a new field called nickname. So let's go back. I'm going to see if we can view this here in our home screen. And refresh. And now under profile, basic information, I can see the field nickname. Alright, so that is how you would make changes to forms. There are many forms. If you go to settings, you'll see that there's employee information, onboarding, time off, all of these different services, as they call them. You can, if they have forms, you can make edits to those forms. Let's do one more. If I go to performance, we have the self-appraisal, performance appraisal, multi-rater review. Again, we would click on it here in order to make changes. I feel it's important to really go through and show you how to get to everything because there are so many tabs and menu items and options here in Zoho People. So to cut down on confusion, I'm going to keep exploring or show you the settings first. If you would like to set up workflows to send out emails, the way you would do that is you would go to settings and then general and click on automation. This is where you'll be able to add workflows, blueprints, email alerts, custom functions, and then the templates are here. And it will be for whichever forms are available in the drop down. Those are here. So we only have one form here, which is exit details. Also under settings, you can make changes to users. So you would go to settings and then manage accounts. You'll see here there are 2 users. You can click on them and make changes here. You can select them and you have these options here at the top. You can see whose login is enabled or disabled, who's been invited, and who's been downgraded. Under employee profiles, that's where you'll get a list of everyone, not just those who are reporting to you, but everyone. The reason why we have so many here and only a couple of users is because this is a demo account and there literally are only 2 licenses in this account. But we've got, some dummy data, which is what you see here. So we've got all, active, inactive, and then downgraded. Under managed accounts, you can also access the organization details. So you can update that here. You've got the ability to add multiple locations if your company has more than one location. The departments would go here, and then designations. If you click on these, you can see how many people are under each one of those designations. If you'd like to add your own domain, you can do so. And then the addresses or organization email addresses that you'd like for emails to come from when you're sending them from Zoho People. Here's your user access control. If you have specific role assignments, you can set them here. If you would like to know what each role can or cannot do, you can click on the role and then it will show you what they do and don't have access to. If you'd like to add administrators, you can do that. So whoever's in your organization, you'll get a list of them all, and then you can choose whomever you'd like to give admin access to. You can change the names of these. So right now, let's just say you wanted to change the name of LMS, which is Learning Management System, and you wanted to change it to training. Well, we may not be able to use that because it may be used somewhere else in the system. Let's just call it courses. All right, so now it's changed throughout the entire system. You have the automation options. This is where you'll see a list of all of the workflows. These are all default. For example, when a task is completed, there's an email that goes out letting you know that the task was completed. You can drill down and choose forms for any of these. And then under actions, that's where you'll see the email alerts that are, again, default. When a job is created, it's going to come from and to with this subject, and then here's the body. If you'd like to make changes to any of the email templates, you would do that here. So let's say you start using Zoho People and you have some emails that go out and you're not, you would like to change the verbiage. Let's just put it that way. Then you would go here to do that. You can do emails, letters, and then mail merge. And then of course you have your workflow logs. Anytime a workflow has been triggered, you'll see that here in the log. The approval section. And then this is just basically showing you your organization, how many licenses you have. You have a limit of 100 forms. You have 100 forms available. Limit of 2 licenses and 2 have been used. So if you'd like to get an idea of what your subscription entails, you would go here. You can set up performance appraisals and reviews inside of Zoho People. So whenever your team does a review, whether it's annually, quarterly, or what have you, you can set up a performance review for a cycle. But in order to give a review, you need to identify your, KRAs, competencies, skills, and all of that. The way that you would do that is you would go to operations here in the menu on the left. and then you're going to click on performance. When you go to methods, you'll see KRA, competency, skill set. There's review questions and summary as well, which we'll talk about in just a second, but the KRAs, competency, and skill sets, you need those in order to complete a performance review. There's a KRA library. Right now, I have 4 KRAs or key result areas listed here. You can add more just by clicking on Add KRA. I could edit these. There's a title and a description. I could delete them. But you would add your KRAs, and depending on who or which roles or departments you're assigning them to, you can weigh them out to equal 100%. So for everyone in this organization, they're all held to the same key results areas, and so they're 25% each, since there are 4. You can add KRAs again. Well, this is for department, sorry, I said organization, but if you wanted them by designation, so for managers or team members, you would add or tag the KRAs here. This is your library that includes all the KRAs. But here you can add however many you need to. This one has been done for departments, so you can see that they're 25% each. And here is where you'll put the weightage. You can also set the KRAs for location or designation and department. It's going to give you the entire list of KRAs, and again, you will choose the ones you like and then give it a percentage. Like so. Oh, I don't think I added any locations in here. Again, that's why you want to set up your entire organization first. The competencies, again, you can do the same thing. You can set them by designation, department, role, location, or designation and department. This is where you'll list all of the competencies. You can add new ones here. And then for each designation or department or role, you'll choose the competencies that you like. I think I have them set for department, and because I have 5, they're 20% each, totaling 100%. Skill sets. I like to set those for designations, and depending on this one is set for department, then I also have one for designations. But the skill library has a lot of skills, like you can list out any and all skills that are necessary for your company, and then you can choose whichever will apply to that designation or department or the entire org or domain. Again, totaling 100%. Now the review questions is where you can add questions that you would like for your managers to ask employees whenever they do a performance review. And those can be, again, for the designation, department, role, or location. There are a few default questions that are available under summary. Whenever you do a performance review, you'll see that you have the option to ask these questions. You can also add your own questions. All right, so that is how you would set everything that you would need for a performance appraisal. Since we're on the subject of appraisals, we will go ahead and set up an appraisal cycle. We're going to click on the appraisal tab, and as you can see, appraisal cycle is the first option here. Click to add a new one, We're going to leave this on manager review. I would suggest naming your appraisals with the appraisal period in mind. So this is going to be for first quarter 2025. And we'll be evaluating for January 1st through March 31st. For all employees and all designations, the reviewer will be the person that the employee reports to. You can change the ratings. These are default. You can change what's there. You can remove them, and then you can also add new ones. You can choose to publish the reviews manually or automatically. I'm going to leave it on manual. And then here is the processing period. We want to process this within the first couple of weeks of April. And then the manager review period will be the first month or first week in April. Hit submit, and there you go. It will let you know that you have 2 people that meet the criteria, which we said all employees in all or with all designations, and so there are only 2. This will tell you the name and then the evaluation period. When you're ready to start that appraisal cycle, you'll click on Start Cycle. At that time, the reviews can be done. Next, I'm going to show you how to set up your leave policy, PTO, FMLA, and then also your work days. We're going to go to Settings, Time Off, and under Configuration, click on Leave Policy. This is where you'll specify if you have FMLA, funeral, holidays, jury duty, whatever the type is. Now this is default. By default, some of these or most of these are unpaid actually. This one is not default. I actually added paid time off because vacation was here, and vacation is unpaid and it doesn't give you the ability to make changes to these. So I created a new one. So feel free to create your own if you need to, because when you do create, you can choose the name, the image and color, a code for it, and then you can choose whether or not it's paid or unpaid. And then also you have a few other settings that you can explore. And then when it's valid from and if it expires, you can specify that. You can also apply it to whomever you'd like. So for paid time off, you'll see here, it's credited 14 days every year on the 1st of January. It's reset every year on the last of December. And then you can carry forward the unused leave time up to 14. This is valid from January 1st. Okay. This applies to all employees. If it needs to only apply to certain people, you can add criteria. You can allow requests for past dates if you'd like. You can actually type in however many days and then future dates. And then your leave policy can be applied to full days or full days and half days and or quarter and hourly. The other thing I want to show you is the work calendar. This is where you can choose your work week. So if your work week is not Monday through Friday, click here to change it. I'm going to click on Saturdays as well as an off day. Okay, And then your pay period. I entered a weekly pay period. I don't think there was anything here before. So this may not have a default. You can go in, click on add pay period and add it for, 1st through 15th, 15th through last of the month, or weekly, monthly, whatever your pay period is. And then you can choose the cycle start date and the end date. So it starts on Sunday and then ends on Saturday for me, and then payroll processing day, payroll report generation day. And this applies to all locations. Now, if you're asking yourself, can I make adjustments? If a person has, let's see here, I have 84 days available for FMLA, but it needs to be adjusted. Yes, you can adjust that. You can customize it. The way that I would do that is I would go to operations and then click on time off. Under customize balance, I can choose the user, and then I can give a new balance. So let's say it's 85. I can type in the number and then the date in which it is effective, and then save. So now I can see that I have 85 for FMLA. Then for holidays, by default, it will load in the next few holidays, but you can add, edit, and delete these. Last but not least, I would like to show you how to set up your shifts. In order to set up a shift, you're going to go to operations and then click on shift. Under manage shifts, I think by default there's only one, which is general. It's usually 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., but you can make changes to it and you can add additional shifts. So as you can see here, in addition to the general shift, we can change it, but we can't delete it because you have to have at least one. I've also added a morning shift and then an afternoon shift. It's very easy to add a shift. Once you do that, you can assign it to your employees. When I click here on employee shift mapping, I can see who has which. You can see Isabella has morning, Emily has afternoon, everyone else has general. I could change this by clicking to select the employee, change shift, and then change it to morning. You want to select the date. You want to start from a particular day. So that can be today's date, or it can go back into the past. If you'd like to add multiple employees, just start typing their name and then they'll come up. Okay. Now we can see as of the 20th, these two employees went from general shift to morning shift. Now that concludes my video on how to set up Zoho People. Of course, it did not include any and all settings, but I just touched on a few that I think may be most useful to know up front when you're first setting up Zoho People. There's an entire onboarding section that probably need its own video. If you have any questions, any comments, please don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments, and then don't forget to check out the previous video which shows you how to navigate Zoho People. Alright guys, until next time.